Hello and welcome to Kent Tonight, live here on KMTV. I'm Finn McDermott and here are your top stories on Friday, the 7th of November. And then there were 9 more Reform UK suspensions at Kent County Council, despite Leader saying it's business as usual.
What I'd like to say to members of the press today is that this grouping is a warm sanctuary for people that have been expelled, mistreated, defamed, or in general just basically abused by the leadership in there.
Clothing crisis. Canterbury fashion retailer goes into administration. And Folkestone remembers poppy tributes laid along harbour ahead of Armistice Day.
These are the platforms that soldiers would have got on the train to go home on, and it's a nice sort of tribute to those who didn't.
But first tonight, County Hall has been rocked by yet more political chaos as legal threats and a fresh suspension threaten to overshadow full council. In their first 6 months, Reform UK have seen their majority halved, with 9 councillors either being suspended, expelled or defecting. But the leader of the council is adamant that it is business as usual, as our local democracy reporter Ollie Leader has been finding out.
Expelled but not out for the count. That's the message from Bill Barrett and Robert Ford. Former reformers not only officially launching a new independent party, but announcing legal action to go with it.
I'm currently taking legal advice regarding defamation of my character by Reform UK and KCC.
At this point in time, we're in advanced discussions with at least 2 additional members that may join the independent reformers. We don't know whether they will and we don't know whether they won't. What I'd like to say to members of the press today is that this grouping is a warm sanctuary for people that have been expelled, mistreated, defamed, or in general just basically abused by the leadership in there.
The news comes as fellow councillor Isabella Kemp announced she's taking the party to industrial tribunal after being dismissed from her role at Reform HQ last week. Her suspension from the party brings the number of councillors Reform have lost in their first 6 months to 9.
Now Reform have lost half of their majority in just 6 months. I understand people are placing bets on when the Reform administration is going to collapse, whether it be Christmas or Easter, and they're just fighting with each other rather than getting to grips with the real problems facing people in Kent.
The draft budget still has not been made public, nor have decisions been taken on council tax rises. Is the infighting and legal action being taken, making it harder for the Reform administration to do their jobs?
It's certainly annoying. I certainly wish it hadn't happened. I just want everybody to pull together as a team so we can...
Next, emergency services were called to report of a house fire on Lancaster Close in Newington. Fire crews arrived at 11 this morning to find the house billowing with smoke. The road was cordoned off as firefighters fought the flames. Police and paramedics were also on the site. Now, the cause of the fire is currently unknown as an investigation is ongoing. Now, Sandwich is set to lose its long-serving Royal Mail postal delivery office in a move that's been described as deeply concerning for residents. The company insists the closure of the site and relocation of operations to Canterbury will have no impact on customers. But residents and councillors who only discovered the plan when they saw the King Street building up for auction fear it will lead to major inconvenience. Next, owners of a nature reserve in Sheppey have revealed long-awaited plans for an almost £500,000 event space. Gareth and Georgina Fulton, who run Elmley National Nature Reserve, say the project will boost the local economy and provide more jobs. Proposals had been in the works for the past 8 years, but were delayed due to several factors. Next, a clothing company operating from Canterbury has gone... sorry about that, and we can hear from them now.
So it's got a huge glazed window looking over the landscape of the reserve, amazing views all across the south of the island. And it's kind of uninterrupted of water and grass and wildlife. So it's quite an amazing setting. So the building will be used for anything those events want to do, whether it's workshops, it's a party and, it'll have a bar and things, or it might be a wedding ceremony for a smaller wedding or a winter wedding. It just gives us that option that if the weather closes in, we've got somewhere to go, other than the very old barn. But, we're quite lucky on Sheppey because it's one of the driest places in the country, so it doesn't tend to rain that often.
Next, a clothing company operating from Canterbury has gone into administration. This is after failing to deliver customers' orders and refunds for several months. Are facing mounting pressure from more than 1,000 customers' complaints. Well, here with me now to discuss this more is our reporter Kristen Hawthorne. Kristen has more details about the company, the closure and its controversy. Well, Kristen, talk us through this story.
Yeah, so like you said, the story centres on the Haas store, an online fashion and homeware company run by Canterbury businessman Jack Lowe. A few years ago it was really popular. I believe that the company started in 2011. But for months now, customers say they've been placing orders and never receiving them, or waiting endlessly for refunds that never came. The company racked up nearly 3,000 one-star reviews on Trustpilot, with people calling it a scam and calling them absolute thieves. Kent Online, who've been investigating the company for several weeks, eventually tracked down Mr. Lowe, first to his company warehouse and then to his manor home nearby. He told them supply issues with brands like Carhartt had caused delays, but insisted his business was legitimate. This is his warehouse that he was operating from. Despite that, though, the company has now gone into administration, leaving around 1,400 customers out of pocket, and that means anyone still waiting for orders or refunds won't get their money back from the company itself.
I see. And tell us about what some of these complaints have said.
Yes, so some of the complaints have said that we've got Harry Durgis from North Devon, previously felt that the store was a trusted retailer, but after paying £36 for Carhartt shorts on August the 1st, he was still waiting for their arrival 3 months later, when Kent Online spoke to him on August the 30th. This is what their website actually looks like now, what you just seen on screen. So the website's not even working now. You need like a password to get in. But Harry also said, after a string of emails to their help department, I'm no further along. I've been met with automated messaging saying there's been a delay. And I mean, I could read you some other ones, but this is basically the same thing that a lot of customers have experienced, that they keep saying, oh, your order's coming, we're getting feedback from Carhartt, but it just never arrives.
Absolutely. And have Carhartt themselves, the company, said anything on the matter?
They haven't said anything, and actually since the Haas company has went into administration, Kent Online tried to contact him yesterday, but he did not receive a response. And I just want to add that those people who may be still waiting for refunds, the administrators Maxwell Davies in Maidstone say customers should go directly to their banks or card providers to claim a refund through what's known as chargeback, because the company itself has been in serious trouble for a while, ending last year with losses of more than 170,000, owing more money than it had in assets.
I see. Well, hopefully all of these people get their full money back. Thank you so much for bringing us this story, Kristen. We'll have any updates if there are any to follow up with. And now we are going to bring you all your latest sports headlines from across the county with Jude Moulton. Let's have a look.
Striker Seb Palmer-Holden is set to play his former rivals Bristol Rovers this Saturday in a bitter homecoming. The Gills player signed from Bristol City in the summer and looks ahead to the game, hoping to add another goal to his tally following his finish against Newport County in the FA Cup last weekend. In an interview, the 21-year-old said, "It's just another game for me at the end of the day. Where it is doesn't matter. Wherever you play, I just try and do my best." In more Gillingham news, manager Gareth Ainsworth has confirmed that he will be at the game against Bristol Rovers, but doctor's orders mean he won't be on the touchline just yet. Recovering from open heart surgery, Ainsworth has returned to the club and begun overseeing training. He is reportedly buzzing to have returned, but has admitted it's going to be some time till we see him in the dugout. "I've got to take it easy," the Gills boss admitted, "and I've been really pleased to be back in and on the training pitch for the last 2 days. Let's hope Gareth a speedy recovery and hope to see him in the dugout soon." In some local martial arts news now, students from Canterbury's Canton Martial Arts showcased their brilliant skills at national championships in Ashford. The students made their mark, competing against more than 200 other martial artists from across the county, and in total 31 from their club were involved. Richard Wincott, Canterbury's senior instructor, said the performance levels were truly amazing and had such an exciting and supportive atmosphere. And finally, thousands gathered at Kent Cricket's Spitfire ground for their annual fireworks show on Wednesday. The sold-out event were entertained by local bands, fire performances and most importantly, a brilliant fireworks display. The action-packed event was hosted by KMFN's own Ben Pearce and Andy Walker, with guest appearances from the Kent Cricket's Foundation's captains and Marlowe's Panto favourites, Ben Roddy and Phil Gallagher, who is also better known as Mr. Maker. Let's hope the spectators had a brilliant time there.
Well, best of luck to the Jills there, and congratulations to all those karate-loving kids from Canterbury. But it is now time for a break. Coming up, we'll be meeting Josh Columbell as he brings us all the latest stories from the world of business with this week's Business Roundup. We'll also be taking a quick peek into politics with a teaser of today's Kent Politics show with Ollie Leader, bringing you all the issues that matter to the people here in Kent. And a time to remember, as it is always around this time of year, as the Folkestone Poppy Project prepares for this year's Remembrance Day. We'll also, if you have any more information or you want to find any more information about that story we spoke to Kristen about the Ha clothing store, you can read more about that on Kent Online. And if you've been personally affected, you can of course reach us on our email or Kent Online as well. But we'll see you in just a few minutes for the second part of the show. Hello and welcome back to Kent Tonight, live here on KMTV. Now for a look at all the business stories from around the county, here's Josh Collenbell with more.
First in today's business roundup, a former Ginningham's doctor's surgery has been sold with applications submitted to convert it into 6 flats. The Railtie surgery closed its services earlier this year, with its patients now being transferred to Balmoral Gardens Clinic. The surgery was sold at auction for a staggering £360,000, with Medway planning permits being submitted to the council. Up next, an award-winning chef opens a Moroccan restaurant, Marrakesh Cafe, in the former Cardinal's Cap pub unit in Canterbury. The Indian chef was inspired by North African cuisine after recruiting a Moroccan chef at his previous restaurant, inspiring him to visit the country himself, culminating in his new restaurant in the Rosemary Lane unit. Following this, a fire broke out at a plastic manufacturing plant in Ramsgate last night, with the facility bosses saying it will not stop them in their tracks. The blaze engulfed Flambeau Europlast in Manston Road at around 8:20 p.m, forcing staff to evacuate the site. Drone footage shows the flames erupting through the roof as 6 fire engines were sent to the scene to battle the inferno. The cause is still unknown. Finally, on today's roundup, the My Dentist practice in Deal relocates to its new £1.3 million site in Broad Street. The My Dentist dental care provider has splashed out on a new site, moving all of their staff over, and all appointments are now taking place in the new facility. The new practice has some 7,000 patients on its books, with My Dentist Area Development Manager Natalie Gwilliam saying, "Our aim was to meet the needs of our patients and our team here in Deal now and in the future, and feedback so far has been extremely positive."
Now, don't forget, each Friday we have a new episode of the Kent Politics Show, looking at all the major developments from the past week. In this week's episode, Ollie Leader was joined by Ashford Borough Councillor Dickon Spain and Dartford Borough Councillor George Holt. Here's a teaser of the show.
Last week, the rail regulator made a landmark decision that will allow Virgin Trains to operate continental train services. Now, we all know rival Eurostar hasn't stopped in Kent since March 2020, but there is renewed hope that a decision made by the Office of Rail and Road could change all of that. Well, joining me to discuss all of this is Labour Councillor Dickon Spain, the Deputy Leader of Ashford Borough Council, and Councillor George Holt, the Conservative Lead Member for Youth at Dartford Borough Council. And Dickon, I have to go to you first. You've been relentlessly campaigning on all things Ashford International and Edsfleet International. Is this actually going to help bring services back?
Well, it's a fantastic big step forward. So we're in a situation now where the monopoly that Eurostar has held for about 30 years now will be broken, which is great news. So we will get another service in. Obviously, there is commitment to Ashford and Ebbsfleet, but there is a condition to that, and that is that the stations are reopened. So the next task really is to look at focusing on getting those stations reopened. We've got a fantastic commitment from Peter Lord-Hendy, the Rail Minister, who has said that the government will champion the reopening of those stations. So what we need to do is make sure that those words turn into actions.
What can politicians here in the county actually really do on this?
Well, I think what's really pleasing to see, Ollie, is the number of people have been working together on this, and it has been cross-organisational work. So borough councils like Dartford and Ashford have been working together with other organisations. Obviously, Bring Back Eurotrains, we've been working on this for 2 years. You've got Kent County Council have also pitched in as well. And a number of other organisations are all involved in it. And really, it's having a massively strong voice, putting forward the benefits of it. And that has actually, I think, really put government, certainly Department for Transport, under huge pressure to actually make sure that something happens. And I think you can see the benefits of that in terms of the commitment from Peter Lord-Hendy to actually champion the reopening of stations. Keir Starmer talking about it in Prime Minister's questions, and it's got cross-party support as well. So there's huge pressure, and that has benefited, I think, the whole campaign.
And don't forget, you can keep up to date with all the latest stories from across Kent by visiting our website at kmtv.co.uk. There you'll find all our reports, including this one by Chloe Brewster, revealing the 2025 Edenbridge Bonfire Guy.
Edenbridge Bonfire Society has been around for over 95 years, and its Celebrity Guy has made it one of the most iconic firework night celebrations in the nation. Last year, the Guy was Ticketmaster and the Oasis brothers, swaying from the typically political Guy choice.
There were plenty of options for who was going to be the Edenbridge Guy this year, but for the people of Edenbridge, the answer was obvious. It's Starmer the farmer harmer, as seen on his badge on his chest just there. Now, there are other people in the running, including the name that's been on everybody's lips.
We did have Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor. He came in a very, very close second. We had other nominations. I think people have suggested Angela Rayner, Andrew Tate, Rachel Reeves. I love the fact that he's got the traditional Guy Fawkes hat and the frilly ruff on, because it sort of brings the whole story round back to Parliament, which is what obviously Guy Fawkes was trying to blow up in the first instance. We feel that Keir Starmer's doing quite a good job by himself of sort of causing the destruction of it.
The build begins from early October, with the caricature painted in the space of just 10 days. One artist has been in charge of painting the effigy for nearly 10 years.
The scale is definitely the biggest challenge, because I don't actually get to see it until you guys see it. So I'm seeing it with the whole world, and I'm basically on the edge thinking, is it going to look okay? And if it isn't, then there's nothing I can do about it. So yeah, the scale of proportions of the body parts mainly is my biggest nightmare, but I think it looks all right.
I took to the high street in Edenbridge to get a feel for local reactions.
That's good. It's good.
That's brilliant.
Who is it?
No idea.
No, I haven't.
No, I haven't.
Yes, it's a very good likeness.
Yeah, it's really creative. I like the sausages on the head. It's nice touch.
Oh, actually, that's really good this year. That's better than the last year's. That's really good.
As people here look forward to lighting up the bonfire on Saturday, we're sure Labour are hoping the upcoming autumn budget won't go up in smoke too. Chloe Brewster for KMTV in Edenbridge.
Great package there from Chloe. Always fun to see what the Edenbridge Bonfire Guy looks like. But now let's have a look at the weather. Tonight we can expect to see a cloudy evening with moonlit skies across the county and temperatures peaking at 14 in Dartford, cooling closer to Canterbury. Tomorrow morning brings partly cloudy skies all over Kent, temperatures as low as 11 in Tunbridge Wells, increasing to 13 on the coasts. And into the afternoon, highs of 15 felt in Maidstone, wind speeds heading eastward at 7 miles per hour. And for the following days, clouds due to cover, spots of sunshine appearing and light Monday showers expected. We end this Sunday with highs of 15 to cooling to 14 in the new week. And now Dreamland have announced 90s legends Garbage and Skunk Anansi, clearly they must be good, will be co-headliner concert in Margate next year. Garbage released their debut album in 1995 and have scored 6 UK top 10 albums, so what do I know, with 2 Brit Award nominations. Skunk Anansi formed in 1994 and in only 5 years headlined at the Pyramid Stage at Glastonbury, making them the first black artist to headline in the festival's history. The 2 bands will perform on Dreamland's Scenic Stage on June the 19th next year. Apologies, I'm just not a big music person, but they seem to be really good. Anyways, finally, as Remembrance Day approaches, those heading to Folkestone Harbour will see a moving tribute to the almost 10 million troops who sailed off from the seaside town to face World War II. 800 poppies have been placed along the length of Harbour Station, which Maisie Walker has been to.
The last sighting of home for millions of troops more than 100 years ago. Folkestone Harbour. This Sunday we will celebrate Remembrance Day to honour and remember all those who have served and sacrificed their lives during World War II. For the upcoming Remembrance Weekend, 800 poppies have been installed along the length of Harbour Station as a tribute to the estimated 9.7 million troops that passed through Folkestone Harbour during the Great War. The symbol of the poppy is well known and well established. It carries a wealth of history and meaning with it. The red poppy became a symbol of remembrance after the 1915 poem In Flanders Fields, which was inspired by the flowers growing on the battlefields of World War I.
I think they're wonderful. It's in many ways it's a good place for them because these two platforms here, plus the one on next to the kids' side, these are the platforms that soldiers would have got on the train to go home on, and it's a nice sort of tribute to those that didn't.
I think the display are really, really beautiful, really excellent the way it's been put out, especially for the remembrance, because that's something that needs to be carried on and through for eternity, really, because it should never be forgotten what went on and the young boys and women that lost their lives during two conflicts, so that we can walk free and speak freely and live the life we live. It should never be forgotten. I think overall, yeah, you can never do enough. Overall, I think yes, as long as it's remembered, I mean particularly on the Sunday Remembrance Day on the 11th, yes, but it must be carried on by everybody, not just certain people in society. It must be carried on as a nation, a national thing, a nationwide thing.
I think it's vital to keep it going, and I think we have successfully kept it going. You know, I don't see any reason why it should stop.
Though the exhibit ends after Remembrance Sunday, the message of Lest We Forget will continue to resonate with those in the seaside town, from where so